Hello and welcome back to Man v Film. It's time for my September watch pile. Everything I watched, everything I added to the collection. September was a tough month. I had lots of things going on in my personal life. I was going for a promotion at work, which I got, but it was really stressful and a lot going on. And, well, movies weren't the most important thing. Immediately. But let's get to the things that I picked up. A couple of these are things that I've already spoken about or you've seen reviews on the channel. But first up, one that I'm going to get to really soon. I was told to pick this up by a few people who said it's entirely my thing, and that is Enemy Territory from Arrow Video. Now, it's not often that I jump on and buy an Arrow movie straight away, but I did with this. And yeah, I will check it out, let you know. From Shameless was State Line Motel or Last Chance, La Chance Ultima, which I really kind of enjoyed. It was a different kind of police showtake, but yeah, definitely worth checking out if you get a chance. A bunch of VA stuff that I've already talked about, so I picked up Dude Bro Massacre 3, which is my kind of thing. Vice Academy 1 to 6, never mind the fact that I've already got 1 to 3. The second Larry Fessenden set, which is Wendigo and The Last Winter. Something that will be right up my street, and that is The Blood-Stained Italy set, 3 films, which I will be watching soon, and Commando Ninja 2, which I love the first one. The runtime puts the fear of God into me on this one. Could be a little bit indulgent. Might be hard to keep that momentum which we had in the first one running for that amount of time, but, you know, I'll give it a shot. From Studio Canal on 4K limited edition set was The Graduate. I loved going back to this movie. The soundtrack's fantastic, which is included in the set, and I just had a lot of fun with this movie. Similarly, my favourite Hammer release thus far of the smaller sets was The Man in Black. I really loved this intricate tale that really was about the kind of fashion world and the jewellery heist, and brought in all these different kind of elements, but just showed their low budget prowess yet again. From Masters of Cinema, there was the Rack and Ruin set. 5 movies, of which I have watched 4 of them so far. And I was expecting not a lot from this set. The first one really surprised me. It was a great deal of fun. The second one was very different and very enjoyable. And the third one was a more kind of typical fare. And I figured we were going to go into that mode, but the fourth one was really good. And the fifth one, which I have started but paused to do this video, I had to get this done. It's really enjoyable as well. And as soon as I'm done, I'm going to finish that off. Heroic Bloodshed and Flaming Brothers, which was one that I couldn't really connect with. I had a real tough time connecting with it. It was fine. Hit all of the usual standpoints, but it felt like something I had seen many times before. From Radiance, their next 4K was In My Skin. Falls under the French Extremity range of movies, but it's so much more. And it's not really like those films. It's one that really affected me more than I expected, and has stuck with me. Now, the betrayal is tremendous. Pick it up, you will not be sorry. It's a wonderful tale, and that finale is absolutely jaw-dropping and exhausting. Lord Golfos from Radiance as well. Again, another terrific movie, a kind of neo-realistic group of delinquents as they move around the outskirts of Madrid, as they try to get a foothold in their life and could almost derail it before it gets started. Really enjoyable. And finally, the World Noir Volume 4 set, which was terrific. Started off with Snoof, Back to the Wall, and Paris Pickup. 3 very different films, 3 exceptionally entertaining films as well. I think my favourite was probably Back to the Wall. Probably. But they're all different. They all offer interesting things to look out for. I enjoyed them all, really, and bring on Volume 5. Lastly, and definitely not least, it is Pusher Trilogy from Second Sight Films. I still haven't started this one. I'm waiting for the time when I can sit down and really enjoy it because I do love reference films. And as soon as I watch it, I will be back with reviews for it for you. So let's delve into what I watched this month. So here we are in Letterboxd. I watched Deadly Circuit, which was part of the 2 movies, with including The Inquisitor from Radiance, and I loved it. It was very different from The Inquisitor, not as good a movie for me, but still really worth it, and it's a great double pack. Death Valley was part of the Low-Way set from Eureka, which I really enjoyed that set as well. It was terrific. I finally got into watching Tremors 2 Aftershocks on 4K. It's one of those movies where it's never going to be as good as Tremors. Tremors was such a standout film. It was just so much fun and just so enjoyable. Tremors 2 manages to capture some of that, but it's never quite to the same level, but it is so enjoyable. I watched the Thursday Murder Club. I had read the books. I was curious how they were going to do it, and it's fluff, but it's enjoyable fluff. It doesn't do any harm. It's one of those movies that you can kind of chuckle with and then go along with as you're watching it. As soon as it's done, forget all about it. The Graduate, as we spoke about, is a 5-star for me. Senzo, the Visconti film for Radiance, was just, period drama. It's something that I'm just not the biggest fan of. Beautiful as it was, I just couldn't connect with that. Black Butterfly and Vengeance of a Snow Girl was also from the Low-Way set. Really enjoyable films. Man in Black, the 4K from Hammer, was great. Flaming Brothers struggled to connect with. Watched the 4K of Mac and Me. I've got a review coming for that. I remembered bits from my nostalgic thoughts about this guy. I watched it a lot when I was younger. Going back to it, got some things to say about that. The Lost Children was something my daughter wanted to watch because she had heard the story about this, so we put it on and watched it. Fascinating story. From the Rack and Ruin set, The Murderers Are Among Us was a great opener. State Line Motel was a great place to take you. In My Skin, which was from Radiance, like I said, was a terrific film, and those 2 shorts come with it. Deadpool and Wolverine, it was a kind of kids pick. They wanted to watch it one Saturday night. I thought, fine, or Friday night, whatever it was. We threw on, and it is what it is. The Betrayal, like I said, terrific film. The Delinquents, which is Los Golfos, was great as well. Razia, which is also known as Snoof, which we talked about, and Back to the Wall and Paris Pickup were all Volume 4 World Noir. You look at the scores, I said my favourite was Back to the Wall, and I still think that, but man, Paris Pickup was twisted in all the right ways, but I'm curious how that would play in a second watch. Somewhere in Berlin was the second film from the Rack and Ruin. Police Raid was the third. Police Raid is the one that feels the most generic of all the movies that's there. The Resurrected 4K from Vinegar Syndrome was really kind of enjoyable. And I rounded out this month with a trip to my cinema in its last ever day of business, which was a shame. Cineworld in Glasgow has gone, and I managed to see One Battle After Another, which was a terrific film with a full house and an audience that really appreciated it, and it just felt terrific. So, as for numbers, I started off the month with 259 films in the watch pile. I added 28 to it, but I only watched 21. It's one of my lowest watched months of films, but like I said, I had other things going on. So the list has jumped up to 266. But we'll get there. So let's look at things that are coming out this month that I may add to the collection. Now, there's a perverted side of me that's making me curious to revisit Spawn. And it's a movie that I know I don't like. I didn't like it when it came out. I don't think I've watched it since. I doubt it's going to be any better. Nah. Sorcerer from Criterion on 4K, maybe a Christmas number. Maybe one I add then, because that is fantastic. I may or may not get the Dolman Toy Box set. We shall see. Zombie Flesh Eaters, which I managed to pick up the other day in the limited edition set. Just found it in a shop and I was over the moon. Kind of missed out on it initially, but I'm so glad to have picked that up. So let's see what else there is. The Curse of Frankenstein is another one that I may pick up at some point. The Florida Project, I love that movie and will definitely be getting that. And then we have some interesting titles from Radiance for Halloween. We've got the Day Gothic Japanese Ghost Stories Volume 2 set. The first set was phenomenal, so I'm waiting for that. Pocket Money, which is interesting enough. Malpertuis, which looks stunning and is something that I'm kind of interested in. Yeah. The Crimson Rivers on 4K. I kind of like this movie. The Ambulance. I've got it sitting here, ready to watch. Same with The Island, which I'm looking forward to checking out as well. I still don't feel like this sounds like a Masters of Cinema series release, but I will check it out. Short Sharp Shocks Volume 4. I need to get on that a little bit more. Let's see what else. And then, like, this is something that's really kind of freaking me out a little bit. It's the cannibalization of the market in the UK. So Prey was released by Indicator. It had a great set and a standard release. It's now been picked up by 88 Films, and they've done this with a couple of titles. But Indicator have also picked up some 88 Films titles and are re-releasing them, and it just feels like enough's enough. There's movies out there that we don't have, and we could do with getting better editions. Let's not rehash titles that have been out not that long ago. Hitchhike is one of those titles. It was an 88 Films Italian collection. It's coming from Indicator. I did really enjoy that one, though. The Sadness, I would say, pick up because it's wonderful. Fury, Swords, and Fantastic Warriors is the 10 movie set. I'm going to sit in here, and that looks like a lot of work to get through, but I will try my best. Clue in 4K. I had a friend send me this from the States last year. We just watched it again at the weekend, and it's such a great movie. Absolutely fantastic. Diabolical Dr. Z, I will pick up at some point. There's quite a few. The Town That Dreaded Sundown was an old Eureka release and is getting re-released again. Back to my cannibalization point. Martyrs is an absolute must. Say that. We'll see how I'm watching it. It really affected me the first time round, so I'm curious how that lands. Nightmare on Elm Street. If I had the funds, I'd probably get. Daughters of Darkness. I have the 4K from the States, but I'd be interested in picking up this one to see what's different, especially from Radiance. There's a lot here that I would maybe get, but there's nothing that I see that's really essential as yet. So I'm going to pick up the Radiance. I'm going to pick up the Eureka titles. I will maybe get the Crimson Rivers. A couple of odd ones throughout it, like the Curse of Frankenstein, possibly. I need to kind of keep it light this month. So there are certain things that, like Sorcerer and 4K, that I would love to get. But you watch finances. There needs to be a limit at some point. So yeah. So overall, September for me was it was an up and down month. You know, I had some personal successes and watching movies kind of took a back step, but that has to happen at some point. Hopefully I'll be back in it this month, even though I'm going to be starting a new position, but I will watch as many as I can. I've got a good amount of movies to already get stuck into, and I plan on doing that as soon as I get off this video. So I'd love to know if you picked up anything interesting in September, or if you watched anything that you want to recommend. Let me know in the comment box below. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. And in the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com. Always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. See you next day.